public education system. Julian, there's something wrong right now. Julian, did you take the vaccine?
You don't have to answer that question.
Julian, did you take it? How many vaccines did you take, Julian?
That's against HIPAA. You don't answer that question.
Julian, you're missing the point in a major, disturbing way. It is a meme online, okay?
I don't think it's a meme if it's reported on The Guardian and Al Jazeera.
What is that? Can you put the link in the chat? Put the link in the chat. The link in the chat.
Okay, I put the link in the chat, like there's in the joke, a child is being offered in developing businesses.
Says who? Based on what? What is the evidence was presented? Who did they speak to? What did they see? Well, get his teeth knocked out. Not maybe someone told her, doesn't it shit? And David Emmett, you believe it? You would have some respect for yourself and use the brain that was given to you by God and think for yourself. What was I presented? You asking us?
The Guardian is reputable, so
They don't laugh at your opinion. Forget about the Guardian, use your own brain. Even the Guardian, that is social, never says anything. Unfortunately, can you go into the Guardian and see what is their source? Think for yourself, is it a credible source, a national source? Or they just report it based on like, how did they go to the legal prison? Al Jazeera? Guardian? No, they didn't. So what, they telepathically? For fuck's sake, like, use your brain. It's not reliable sources, so I believe that God, it's not a brainwash. You just believe whatever they told you. This is what the Guardian of it. As if it's like the Ministry of Truth.
well, so this article from The Guardian lists embassy officials have conducted welfare checks on Mohammed Ibrahim since his detention, but have faced restrictions on in recent weeks, according to an email sent by a state department official to the family. Zahir, Mohammed's father, said he was informed by the embassy after an early visit that his son appeared to have lost 12 kilograms, 26 pounds in the spring. In mid-July, the State Department informed the family in an email sent by The Guardian that Ibrahim was suffering from scabies and contagious skin infection caused by mites and was receiving medical treatment. Said U.S. officials would visit once he recovered.
So scabies, basically. Yeah, it does happen sometimes, especially like reasons for army. Those are the type of circle.
But I thought it wasn't made that 100%.
No, scabies could happen. That shit happens.
There's no reliable source that he just mentioned that shows that this guy, who we don't even know if that picture is actually his real picture or his name, even exists, or is even in a prison. It's all bullshit, propaganda, and I said this earlier in the room, is these fuckers come in here from TikTok and from Twitter, and the first thing they read, they believe. It's brainwashing. That's all it comes down to. That's it.
Yeah, I read the article.
Learn how to think for yourself.
It was in an email that the Guardian saw. So, yeah, there's a lot of details in the article.
Thank you, George. There's actually a lot of details, and U.S. NBC officials have verified it, so I don't see how this is a fake person.
I honestly don't give a fuck, Julian. What I give a fuck about is that the hostages that are still in Gaza, which no one seems to talk about. You come in here talking about this fucking guy who threw rocks or whatever he did, broke the law, who deserves to be in jail. So I don't give a shit about it. I care about the people who were taken from their homes while they were sleeping in the bed at 7 in the morning because terrorists came and fucking walked into their house with AK-47s. That's what I care about. And then they rape the women, children, whatever. They kill the dogs in their fucking kibbutz there. They burn the houses down. But you care about some fucking kid that broke the law because he's a fucking retard, thought that he was gonna be a martyr, or thought he's gonna be a fucking shaheed or whatever the fuck he was thinking he was gonna rocks and take a fucking retard.
Well, you can pictures from the embassy and see doctors that the way they even treat you for scabies. Is this your problem, not the hostages? You know,
I care about the
So
hostage.
who gives a fuck about a criminal that is in jail?
I care about
Julia,
human humanity.
Julia, criminals should be in jail, and people that try to murder people should go to a mental institution. Okay? We should not be here defending them and talking about them. I think they're like the people that were like oppressed. No, the guy is talking to them. He's not a child. He's not a child. You don't even want to know how many years given responsibility.
You've been given many answers to your query here.
Hello, moderators.
16.
Moderators, this is John. I'd like to make a demonstration and show you a quick diagnostic. Julian, what is 370?
John, can I moderate? If I give you the briefing, are you going to just end the room?
No, I won't. Julian, this is a quick diagnostic for the room. What's 373 times 1,000? What is 373 times 1,000?
I'm not answering that.
Okay, let me give you an easier version. What is 100 times 1,000? What is 100 times 1,000? Go ahead, Julian.
You really don't know that, Julian? Really?
This is an important diagnostic here. Because it's important to know. It's important to know that as a speaker and having a debate with Julian, if you can't even answer a simple math question, maybe it's you that are having the problem, failing to realize that Julian, may not all be there, but you are having an intense debate with somebody who may not all be there. Someone that can't do 100 times 1,000. 100 times 1,000.
I know the answer to that, but I don't see what that has to relate to the topic.
Okay, prove it on the spot, and then we'll know that our diagnostic test has been completed.
Oh, you just put it on the calculator right now. We know.
Every child that commits a crime, no matter how old he is, should be in fucking jail. And I hope this kid fucking rots in jail.
It's the same thing that happens in America.
Guys of scabies.
If you commit a murder in America and you're 16 years old, they're going to charge you as an adult. You're very close. You're close to 18 and a child.
Child, let it go. Don't arrest the criminal. Don't arrest the murderer. Let him go outside and kill more Jews because he's a child. Exactly. Because your problem should be with the indoctrination of children that teaches them from a young age that it's a holy war to go and slaughter Jews. Okay, that should be your problem. They didn't say a word about it. You're blaming the Jews for arresting him before he killed the Jew and put him in fucking jail when he's getting all the rights like visiting from his consulate and doctors. And his family's from Florida. Well-made checks from the American. The governor of Florida is helping him because he's from Florida.
Okay.
Julian, why was he throwing rocks in the West Bank instead of chilling on the beach in Florida?
Samaria, not the West Bank.
Alright, well, for Julian, I'm just using the words that are appropriate for Julian.
I know it is, and Samaria is, and also,
Why was he throwing rocks and not eating his mother's junk food or whatever it's called?
look, like I said before, I do feel for the hostages currently in Gaza.
Wait, what about my question? What about my question? I didn't ask you about the hostages.
You just said I feel for them.
What about... We didn't ask about the hostages right now. I asked you why was he throwing rocks? Why was he throwing rocks, Julian?
Well, he was accused of throwing rocks.
Why was he accused of He was accused because he happened, okay? So if you take face value of what they're saying, take face value what we're saying. He was throwing rocks, as he says there, and then he was arrested, and now he's facing trial, let's say, according to your tweet. Why was he throwing rocks? Was he skipping them on a lake? Did he
Look, like I said before, I
Try to answer. It's important. It's important. It's not a gotcha. If you understand this, maybe it will open your eyes. Because it's a child from
Daniel, there is no opening Julian's eyes. He supports murderers. It's just that simple.
Julian, what is 373 times 1,000?
373,000.
Oh, shit. 373,000.
Yes.
373,100,000. You have to
Actually, what does this have to do with the topic? Because at the same time, I'm very, like I said, I acknowledge,
of why. We ask you why was this stolen through. Try to answer this.
I understand these are accusations. At the same time, I don't know.
Commodities are necessities. We don't need commodities.
You don't need Red Bull.
It's not a commodity.
Well, I'm sorry, maybe I used the wrong word.
Yeah, there's a lot of you're using a lot of proprietary words that you have to know the specific definition of. Yeah, like
Sorry, I thought it was
colloquial definitions, she's not going to be familiar with the economic definitions of that.
Oh my god, you just don't talk to people like they're idiots. Okay.
We're lovely to talk with you guys and spend this time with them, just go, just leave them here talking bullshit.
Okay.
I really hope y'all change your approach, please.
It's audio.
I think it really is up to.
Something I hate to admit is that Mel Gibson makes some of the best movies in the game. Like, it just pains me as a Jew.
Yeah, a couple of good ones.
Apocalypto. What else did we do that's really good? Patriot was fun, even though it's not a great movie, it's a fun movie.
Not recordings. I got text messages. I got pictures. I have screen grabs. Because people be lying. When it comes to Clubhouse, it ain't that deep for me to go back and forth with people. But I'm realizing in the last 2 weeks, people have been up in arms, lying way too much.
This new thing where people do not understand hypothetical situations. I'm working with young people all the time. There are some people, younger people, the future stewards of society who do not comprehend the concept of a hypothetical situation. And so you'll say to them, hey, if you were going to do that, and they're like, oh, like right now? And you have to say to them, no, like in the future, like your imagination, like pretend, like that's what they do. That's what they did about it. That's why they did it. Yes, no, it's felony. It's felony assault. If he said that he didn't have it. He didn't say no. Okay, but if it happened, it's felony assault. It doesn't matter why. No, of course it matters. It matters why, because it's on a criminal act. It is a criminal act. Yeah, running from it's not. It could be attempted murder also. It is a terrorist assault. No. In your world, this is terrorism. Because it's the reason why it matters also in cause, okay? Well, I mean, there's an additional charge. Terrorism, an additional charge of terrorism. Yes, I'm asking why it matters to me. But that's his question. He goes in jail. He goes in jail for assault. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We met robbed somebody. Oh my God, Jason. Well, it doesn't matter. Jason, no, for you, it's assault, okay? But it does matter why. Because it happens a lot for the same reason. For the courts, it's assault. No, for the courts, it's for the justice system, it's assault. No, but Jason, I'm not saying it's not enough. Go and study the topic about the procedure. Just, assault. But all you would do if I was in the fight. No, assault is when you put someone in fear of bodily harm. Okay, and battery is when you deliver on. Battery is when you harm them. That's what those two things are.
Intent is a critical part of any violent act.
Yes, intending to. If you don't have the intent of self-defense, it's assault.
Any
I
private
don't know why you guys are arguing about this right now.
Because it's that's all you need to know to explain why the kid is in jail. It's not a hunt. It doesn't matter to you, that's a conversation for me. It does matter. If the answer, you would understand why. If you look at what I'm saying, you heard what you said. You heard what you said first several times. But the question that I had was not what was the charge. I asked why I was fed up. That's how I was saying. Why did he get up this morning and decided to so wrong? That's the question that interests me. I think that if Julian would understand it, he would have a better understanding of the entire situation and not think that he's like a child that was arrested and accused. And God's kept.
I understand that, but at the same time, I'm reading the article, and I think they make it clear that his family does dispute the charges about the.
They do. They always do. What does that mean? That means nothing. Oh, no. So that's something happening in the family there for the child to throw rocks. Obviously, what I'm talking about. That actually never happened. They never arrested him to throw a rock at the Jews. That would be actually the first thing. Makes sense. And he asking you, like, I think, 12 times, you fail to answer once. And I think it's because you know the answer, you just don't want to admit it for some reason. The question is why is it that the child playing at home with his friends, soccer with a ball, decided to take a block and throw it at you? He's a child, like mind you. Okay, not a military, not a fighter. He should be, I don't know, nursing, whatever the children do in your eyes at the age of 16.
He doesn't want to answer because he knows the answer to the question. Right.
Why wasn't he nursing? Why wasn't he nursing in his buttons?
Right. Also, and then.
I think that's a valid question, but I think we're also ignoring that his family did dispute the charges.
I am not asking about the charge you that trying to focus about my question. Answer my question, then we can talk about.
Let's return to that question.
Because I think that this is really disturbing that Julian is consistent. Julian, we have heard you. We can hear you. We're all on the group call together. We can hear you. So you already said the family disputed the charges. That was already responded to. Then it was your turn again. Then you said again, the family disputes the charges. That is very disturbing because it's like it's not following with the not following.
We're still talking about why he threw these rocks.
No, Daniel, it doesn't matter if the parent disputes the charges.
I think that is important because I mean, she said on both sides now. They're both
Why do you think he's arrested them?
It literally is already
Why do you think? Why do you think? Go read the article. The article.
throwing these rocks.
Why? Why? Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Why would they take a 16-year-old and not take his whole family? Why would they take his whole fucking family? Why would they just remove and shoot them all? Why would he shoot them all? Why Why would they go? Why did they airstrike that whole? Airstrike the whole fucking
What you
place?
believe, and just what you believe, but just because the reason why this event happened, if you want to say that it's doing it wrong, why we're doing it wrong, you said that if you're arrested falsely, why? And try to make sense of it so we can understand you, because I don't think.
I'm just trying to say that I just think it's great. The American trial is being held on these guys.
I agree with you. We're in an American trial being held on these guys.
You're not answering
My
my
question word for word.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You're not answering the question.
His family is saying, and that's disturbing. It's disturbing that his family is a bunch of fucking dirty liars. And they're fucking owning up to reality. Their son is a Palestinian terrorist. He was on vacation to Judea and Samaria with a couple of dogs. And how they help Palm Bay, Florida. They enlisted them up in Florida. They were there half a year.
Americans are arrested
Americans are arrested all over the world all the time for crimes like this. And no, the U.S. does not bust them out or whatever. People who commit crimes should be in fucking jail. Okay, and this kid probably is in that category. That's not fucking concerning. That's the system working.
Any person in America that would throw rocks at police officers or put in jail right away. No questions about it.
And it's amazing the way that this is American child. And I did itself, like in a very likely situation. Next, maybe call it a terrorist American child. Yes, depending upon it should be child ejaculation and recruitment of children. That should be a problem.
Julian, my question remains unanswered. It is another hypothetical question, so you might have trouble with this one. But if he wasn't arrested for throwing rocks, Julian, you agree it's possible that he did not throw rocks? You agree? It's possible he did not throw rocks. Is this true?
Well, so that feels throwing rocks.
He's been accused of throwing rocks.
It's like it's a thing when they ask me, let me tell you, don't complicate it. I'm not talking to you. I'm saying that's something. Exactly. Right.
Like, as I previously stated, returning to the script.
And the fact that you rejected it. So,
Julian, why do you believe that he was specifically targeted? This is a big waste.
Was he arrested at the pool of the soccer field? Like, where was he arrested?
Hey, let's let's just confirm what my friend the trash bag just said, that this is a huge waste of fucking time. Let's just confirm that for everybody here so you know how to proceed. That this is a huge waste of fucking time. Huge waste of time.
I think it's great, honestly.
No, we spend too much time on our
We're making ourselves look like retards because this is a self-roasting app, and anytime you open your mouth on this app, you end up roasting yourself. And so I've actually done a bunch of shit today, like drove around and did a couple ads, but I think the entire time that I've been doing that, I've been halfway trying to focus on this fucking retarded gobbledygook that people are arguing about. I mean, no offense to anybody in particular. It is a big waste of time, probably. What do we want to talk about then? Potentially, first of all, let me just say, we could potentially waste less time if we had slightly more efficient communication. Like if we didn't have to go back and forth. You know, John has suggested in the past that we might have like a 1 minute hard limit for every speaker, and there's 1 minute hard stop. And I think if we implemented that, well, yeah, I don't know, but I think that could make a lot of headway. And I think that people have listen. And that's a big ask too, because sometimes I'm speaking to somebody like, hey, are you hearing me? I can't see their face. I'm trusting that they're hearing me, but then when it's their turn to speak, it sounds like they didn't really hear me fully. So
Because they don't give a shit about what you say. They care only about the agenda and the propaganda that they want to spread. I 100% agree with you. It's a waste of time. You want to hear what? You want to hear what you heard already a million times before? About what they say? It's never new. I want to see Giuliano or anybody motherfucker else that gets private rock, get hit by a rock, and tell me, oh, it's only a rock. Why you want to shoot him? Let's see what happened to you when you're driving and you get hit by a rock. That's surprising you.
have you ever seen those videos, Julie, of the people
I'm
driving?
driving to a truck to see the truck driver.
No.
No, that's not why, because that's what these fucking kids do. They throw rocks at trucks, at cars, people, like innocent people, civilians driving to and from work. They take
What is a truck driver? Do you understand this bullshit thing? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're missing all the points. We're always on the miss. Somehow, we're always on the miss. We never on the get it. And Julian is claiming that he's so much more Israel, and he cannot bring himself to say one good thing about Israel. Unbelievable.
I love them.
Don't sit on the cartouche, you fucking piece of shit.
I just said I love like something from Israel. There's shawarma. I like here beef
That
is
house
our
is capital. Sit on the caucus.
There's shawarma, really, Julian? There's shawarma?
How about all the days?
and their beaches.
Guys.
How would you even know? You've never been, Julian. How would you know anything about the beaches?
I have Google on my phone. It's really
Oh my God, yes, don't you?
This is from like an hour ago. People back when I think the hour.
Is that where you are now?
No, now I know.
Now you're going home.
At some point, I'm not looking right.
nobody's still in.
It's not too crowded. I would expect it to be much more crowded.
I'm in the world house, so it's funny.
So not really okay. So maybe you'll be.
What was the question, Mimi? Mimi, what was the question that we're supposed to answer for somebody?
How do you pronounce this Hebrew name? The guy with the Netanyahu photo.
Oh, him?
Is it no with the full name? Is that what it is, really?
Or something else.
So the coin that they always seem to say that it has the name Palestine on it, that's also written on the coin as well. What he has in his name.
He's saying that the aleph can also signify the word for lamb.
Oh, it's an abbreviation like NPD, or like, I don't know.
Like USA.
Oh,
Exactly.
I got it. Thank you.
Abbreviation.
Thank you.
And basically the name was the original. The name was the original. Not exactly, but it was
Yes.
Germany in English, but in German it's English.
Yes.
So Hebrew was almost it was on every like stamp or document or passport or whatever.
Thank you.
So whenever they show those coins or documents,
Does that make sense, Julian, about the rock tower? answered your question here for the last 25 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, is the microphone working?
Working out.
No, your microphone is working. I think he's just had a bit too much, kind of annoyed with, what else maybe, I don't know.
Julian sounds to be like one of the guys from Newsroom, no?
Who's Amir?
Huh?
Who is Amir? The one that you're licking his butt on.
Yeah, no, you're like, this is the intellectual level of newsrooms.
Who is Amir? The one that you're licking his butt on all the time.
I don't know who Amir is.
Really?
He's the one of your his butt.
You should go on the lobby. He hosts those now. Yeah, you should go in. This is exactly like the place for you.
Julian, have you seen this image that these girls are? Have you seen this image?
What image?
PTR.
Yeah, I have seen that image. And like I said, I do feel for the Israeli hostages, but at the same time, I feel for the community as a whole
Whenever somebody says, I have a lot of empathy for something, and then they say the word but, what they're saying is, for everything I previously said, this is what I really feel. That's what the issue is. So when people say, oh, it's horrible what happened on October the 7th, but Hamas has no choice.
Right there, black. We feel for you. The point of this image is to illustrate the lie. What's most significant about this image, in my opinion, is that this is a major accident. That this, first of all, people, do you understand, Julian, what this is an image of?
You don't. Yes, this one is from Israeli hostages.
And whose arms and what is being handed to him?
I'm assuming that's Hamas.
And what are they handing to him?
It looks like water, food.
A can of beans, basically.
Yeah.
So, right. Okay, so but this is an axe. This is a major slip up. This is a goof because they should have gotten a much more starving Hamas person to hand him the fucking can of beans. Because as I illustrated, I'm the creator of this meme, by the way, which I think is a very nice meme. You can clearly see that the one guy is starving, and then the other guy is being treated very well. So what we're told all the time is that the hostages are being treated very well, and what we're told all the time is that the Palestinians are starving. All the time? No, we're told that all the time. No, they say that all the time. The hostages.
I disagree now because like
Beside the point. The point is, they goofed up and they showed that they're not actually starving. The Hamas guys who are in the tunnels with the starving guy, the Hamas guys are not actually starving. And so the reason why I think this is relevant in response to your Right. So the reason why this is a nice response to your image about the rock throwing 16-year-old from Palm Bay, Florida, who went on vacation to Judea and Samaria and who spent his time throwing rocks and passing cars for fun. The reason why this image is a nice response is because it illustrates how many lives there are in the Palestinian area. There are lives when they're talking about whether or not they're throwing rocks and cars. There are lives when they're talking about whether or not the hostages are being treated very well. There are lives when they're talking about whether or not the Palestinians themselves are starving. There are lives that you see being disproven every day when you watch the videos. There are lies about the aid trucks and the aid distribution. And I saw a video the other day about one of the dropped aid packages that landed on a balcony. Did you see that one? What's your question?
Scaffolding, onto the scaffolding.
Yeah, did you see this video? This thing landed and then they were like forming it like a fucking
Yeah, unorganized.
fell down. Oh my goodness. So Julian, they just lie all the time, and they probably were lying about the 16-year-old rock thrower as well. Oh, he's on the
So my friend,
Amazing. Amazing.
Resistance is gone.
Julian is a good guy. I mean, resistance is a hateful piece of garbage. Julian is just young and dumb.
Julian is no better than resistance.
Oh, Julian is much better than resistance in
I'm
one
gonna
simple
tell
way.
you why.
Let's tell you.
As a young guy,
Fence.
I'm sorry. As a young guy,
All right, fine.
as a young guy that actually studied in New York University, if you don't do your own research, shut the fuck up. Okay? Well, if you don't do your own research to find out what action proof, then you are no better than resistance.
Julie, you should apologize. Julie, you should apologize.
Don't you see that I call that present? Never took on my video.
amount of outrage for right now and what's happening with other people in the Middle East alone. Not even, I mean, we can go outside the Middle East and some other horrible atrocities, but just the Middle East, definitely in Syria, as we speak. So I'm asking Julian now.
The answer is no. Thank you, Julian.
Let Julian answer it.
So anyway, I thank you for your sincere comments. So about what questions in Syria and Bangladesh, I think you mentioned. Like I mean, absolutely. I mean, you also have the Alawites in Syria. I have
Yeah, I have Sudan in there too.
yeah, and Nigeria as well, like the Christians in Syria, Nigeria, the Christians worldwide are being persecuted. Like I absolutely for them. So yeah, I
Would you go out and hold a sign for them and go in front of
What about the Christians? What about the Christians in Nigeria?
I didn't even get all the Christians yet, I think, let me just.
No, I just wanted to say, because we were talking about persecuting, Ricky was talking about persecuting Christians. What about the Christians in Nigeria who are killing their own children because they're being told by their pastors and pastoresses that they're witches and wizards?
William, would you go over the sign in front of the embassy? Would you do something proactive to stop these other atrocities? Or is it only the Gaza that you feel the outbreak is compulsion to
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with Abby and Juliet. You know, not the problem on you, but you know, there's the Christians in southern Niger who are being persecuted. There's actually a lot of Christians.
I'm trying to dialogue with you. I love you, David, you know that, but to just ask Julian the question, would he do a political action to protect those other atrocities? Or is it only the Gaza one that he would feel compulsion to take political action?
so I never went out and protested for God.
Even if everybody in the class does better, it doesn't matter. Only half of the students can get those grades. So that would be a kind of treating of grades as a zero-sum game. No, I don't do that. I mean, there are classes like this one where the students are very good and
Teacher that would show me how socialism is by doing the grade assignment and see how I can remember this story because I think it's relevant to this too. They said, the teacher said, okay, everyone gets what the top grade earner gets. So the A students got A's and everybody else got A's. Well, then the A students like, why am I busting my ass learning this material if everybody's gonna get the same grade that I get? But then they started slacking off. Well, then they got B's. And the other students said, hey, I didn't have to study at all. Instead of an F or a D, I got a B because of someone else's labor. That's good to do too. They got to C's. Then it ended up that everybody was failing the class because it didn't mean anything anymore to work and do the job. And that's socialism. All right.
also people get very high grades. There are classes where people are terrible. In fact, talk about instances of bad cooperation versus good cooperation. We have this program called FIGS, First Year Interest Groups. The advisors refer to people in them as figlets, but that is kind of cute. Anyway, the figlets, normally within those groups, cooperation is very good, and people in those perform better. But in the time I've been here, I did have one of these where it was bad cooperation. There were several people in there who were just terrible students, and they corrupted the others. They all go up, and so like I need one person in that entire figure who got a C, all the others got D's and F's. And I don't think that's the first that they looked like they were all terrible students, but it turned out a few really bad apples just spoiled the whole bunch and encouraged them all to have terrible work habits. So that kind of thing can happen. In any event, normally grading isn't like that, and it could be. So it doesn't have to be economic. Now, lots of games are mutually beneficial in the sense that the players can increase or decrease the total amount of utility.
So normally we would think wars like that. Wars can be fought more or less destructively. And in fact, one of the hard questions in looking at 20th century military history is why were 20th century conflicts so unbelievably destructive? The First World War, the Second World War, the loss of life, of destruction of property, and so on. Just wars, clear wars. Partly that's just because people had more technology to do more efficient killing, but it wasn't just that. And so, you have to think, why were they such terrible wars? That was a case of people really decreasing utility radically. But also there are ways of people actually getting together and cooperating and increasing utility. Well, in this case, one player's gain doesn't necessarily come at somebody else's expense. It might be, in fact, that I gain by causing you to gain. And so we actually have useful cooperation. So what are some examples of mutually beneficial games? Good economic competition, right? You might think, well, if we're thinking market share, my getting more market share means you have less. But on the other hand, it might be that actually by introducing new products and competing, we're actually increasing people's interest in all of this, and so we're growing the market at the same time. So maybe the competition is actually improving all of our situations. And similarly, I sell you some product, and you like it, it makes your life better. I'm improving your utility. You're paying me, so I'm getting a benefit out of that. And so we're both benefiting. In fact, typically.
Helping as a Palestinians, and Hamas and Israel and Palestinians or and Islam, it's and Hamas, obviously. I mean, duh, they're great now.
Well, and election would also do the trick. My friend,
Yeah, but they're on list today.
No.
You know,
My friend, with all due respect, I don't really like the way you said that question. That's not what I want.
which question? Well, maybe you want
The
to
question of the poll, I don't like it.
With all due respect.
Well, you can write your own poll and send it to me in the back channel.
Well, that sounds a
I
lot.
would make you a moderator, but you're not sober.
No, I don't want to be moderated.
If you were sober, maybe.
But that's a lot of work, so.
Yes, it is hard to do. I have trouble with it as well. I just have a different substance of choice.
But you know that David did graduate from the Newberry
Let's
Program?
go. Yes, well, I am also an underclassmen weaver.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Wasn't be in it because there's a particular way of wording or the color.
I'm born in business school.
So let's layer on top of it, not just diving into it.
Also, not to flex, but, our boy, President of the United States, also graduates from where? Let's go.
David, you're supposed to sell the tequila, not drink all of the tequila.
I actually have a friend who actually has a tequila business.
Right, David?
I have a friend who has.
Should we sing it?
I have a friend. I
actually have a friend.
And I was gonna say, my friend has a tequila business.
I did hear you say that for the third time.
But not me. Wow.
David, have you ever had a vodka Sprite with a splash of cranberry in it?
Definitely not box.
David,
Have you ever had a Miller High Life with a glass of orange juice?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's called a beer mosa. Very nothing.
No, I don't do that. No friends. Anyway, drink beer.
None taken. But with all due respect, David, what are you doing today? What are your plans and goals and dreams for this beautiful Sunday?
Well, it's Sunday actually, I don't Sunday, no offense.
None taken.
I'm gonna make some rhubarb jelly.
Are you in the Garden State right now?
Yeah, I'm in Jersey, yeah.
Yeah, what would be your approximate?
Canada County.
Okay. I'm right now talking to you.
Docs?
Yeah, I'm with Docs. I'm saying what exit?
Turnpike exit 4.
David,
Cherry Hill.
David, what is your address in Cherry Hill?
I'm heading over to my Jewish friends who live in the east side.
David, need some fucking Taylor ham for me.
Not there yet. I'm just heading over in a little bit.
David, you would be anywhere near the UL?
No.
David, I'm hitting.
I go to my friends
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm hitting you up in the back channel with your closest AA meeting.
With all due respect, I'm not gonna answer your back channel. With all due respect.
Well, with all due respect, just consider going to your closest AA meeting.
I'll answer Abby's back channel because she's nice.
I think I sent another link as well, my lovely.
Thank you, Nicola. These are great. I just thought when I listened to you, it's perspective of stuff out of the UK. I love when I get challenged with statistics and back up the
Abby, are you supporting Benjamin Netanyahu's declaration of escalating and culminating the war by destroying Hamas?
So it's interesting because it's a 2 month period of time that they will almost act like what we know to be in the U.S., the Army Corps of Engineers, building ancient hospitals and different areas for locations for housing and other services. So during that 2 month period, they'll also be assessing. They haven't touched on the city, but that's clearly where Hamas is mentally focused now, and they're kind of coming out of. So in order to really win this, they're going to have to come out there. But they're in a 2 month period of time. I really don't know if you could tell me another battle or a war where there was a warning for 2 months. I mean, there's lots of wars for population, yes, and moves, and has to move because they're within a danger area. But this is a 2 month warning, so they, as well as the food distribution, everything will be arranged during those 2 months. So, I mean, this is it. They're not going in tomorrow. There's a buffer period of time. So I think that's kind of interesting, and it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. But curious people's thoughts on that they're approaching it that way. I think people are talking about that. I think they're going in tomorrow.
How do you know it's not just a bluff?
Well, you don't. You really don't. And, you have the polling of the Israeli population where it's very funny. I said this in the room the other day. You've got like 45% feeling one way, 45% feeling the opposite, and 10% saying they have no opinion, which none of us know Israelis have no opinion, so it's kind of a funny poll. But everybody wants the war over. But you don't know if it's a law. But you do know that it's a 2 month period of time to build the hospitals and the areas for the relocation and social services. So I can find some written about it, analysis on it. And you don't know. We don't. But we do know that that's where they're located. That's what's got to be weeded out. And we know what they found in other locations. We know when they were told not to go into Rafah, and they eventually went in what they found. And so strategically, they're at war, and this is what needed to annihilate the enemy. I think it's interesting the Arab League position. You're not even coming out of the Arab League, and I think you have to know that. They want Hamas gone as well. So, and I don't know why this dude, this guy, has a problem with Judaism. Like, it's very bizarre. But anyway, that's like.
Why would I have a problem?
I'll tell you, I'm going to change up that.
Genociding people in the Amalekites are killing women and children and I don't know, virginity tests by Moses. I don't know.
Maybe I ate a bad piece of pasta once, something like.
Isn't it funny that people, when they come into the room, when someone's talking, they just talk over them to troll because they want to put their propaganda and their narrative out there. It's quite sad, really, isn't it? Can you not wait your turn? So I want to talk to Mikhail.
Yes, Michael was in the acoustic room just now, and then we realized there's something called Nation of Islam in US. It started in 1930. I think what we are seeing now is there, the white supremacy working on this. And so this group of people are called the black
You said the NOI is Nation of Islam Farrakhan, which is different than the DHI. Is that, you're talking about Farrakhan?
Yeah, they're different, but the BHIs are being helped to form through the Nation of Islam in US. I think someone mentioned it, I think. So I just found it in ChatGPT, but because it came to Uncle Steve Room, he just non-stop spreading all the information to question the legitimacy of Jewish in Israel. So I think it's good that I think we pretty much defeated most of the pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine arguments over the last 6 months. Now they have no more arguments, so they are mobilizing the black Hebrew Israelite to come here. And that shows that in order to have unity for America, we have to help the black community to chart this group of people only trying to cause more division among the American population using Israelite as a justification.
Well, there's basically two very dangerous groups. Every time you just pull up and you're going on the internet, look at ETL's reports on NOI and Farrakhan. You read a lot about Farrakhan. And he decides to do the termite. These guys can find lots of videos and speeches. And the HI is like many different sacraments components. I mean, they're on the staff page. They approve. Have you guys ever gone to biblical smoke? I mean, it's like 700-800 people in a room at one time.
Exactly, in a clubhouse, right? So they
John,
really do.
do you go in this room?
I've been in there, Abby. I've been in biblical smoke. I'm always amazed by the numbers they draw consistently. It's a little creepy. They don't really do back and forth. It's like they just have somebody reading scripture and interpreting it their way, I guess. But I do have a question from Kate. Maybe I misunderstood reasoning. The PHIs are anti-Israel? Did I hear that right?
I think they basically want to raise question the legitimacy of Jewish identity. They call them Edomites. And I think that the message to the ChatGPT because I just started, right? And they just came, they just come in full blast. Jewish are Edomite, and then you have to figure out, okay, why do they want to call Jewish people Edomite? On what basis? It seems like in the formation of BHI, Black Israelite, Hebrew Israelite, they have a chart, they have a diagram of descendant, which is kind of their version of interpretation of Genesis, where they talk about the lineage. And so from this lineage, they justify that Jewish people are Edomites, and they have no claim to the Holy Land and all kinds of stuff. So I think it's good that we need to.
So you're saying PHIs are pro-Palestine?
Well, they are pro-Islam as well. So they are assembling multiple things from Christianity, Judaism, all kind of stuff in order to like jihadists create more hate. They're very stupid people. So why do they come up? So it's important we understand what else the enemy have in mind, right? So we understand they come to U.S. University and destroy the future of children of many families, right? They are totally indoctrinated, and this is through direct donation. And now I learned in 1930 they really started this thing. Yeah, it's called the Nation of Islam. I think maybe we know more. But the question is, what else Nation of Islam are doing in U.S.? If they are doing in U.S., what else organization that honesty, then we know exactly how to deal with it. Yeah. This again just show to what extent the enemy of Israel would go to like evil. Why are you laughing at me?
Sorry, Devin's put in the chat, aren't Edomites roasting soybeans? No, that was Edom.
He said Abraham said,
Yeah, just said it, man.
delicious.
How do you say it then?
I thought it was edamame.
Well, of course, you like to put your E's on the end like Nike. We call it Nike.
How do you just say Nike?
Anyway, if there's nobody to fight with, then there's nothing to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, my friend, it's very quiet.
Oh, Shapeshifter is here. Shapeshifter.
Everybody voted on the poll.
Shapeshifter.
That was a nice shapeshifter's not that bad. He voted correctly in the poll.
Shapeshifter. Do you think Benjamin Netanyahu's all bluff and bluster, or do you think he's really going to send in the hardcore IDF soldiers to blast out those terrorist cocksuckers and liberate those hostages?
Whoa.
What do you think, Shapeshifter?
I think there is a chance of some bluff in there. Do you think? Are you still?
Why would we be lost out?
It's just strategic, David, so you can try to extract some type of negotiation.
I didn't ask you, I asked him.
But he didn't ask you, he asked him.
But I'm asking him. Okay, with all due respect, my friends, I'm asking him.
Well, if somebody wants to answer, are they not allowed to?
Okay, well, we can do a poll. But
David, if you're even dumber than Julian, what does that say about you?
First of all, that's not funny. That's not funny. I feel insulted that you were laughing at me.
David, what is 873 times 1,000?
It's okay.
I prefer coffee before 5 p.m.
It's a good choice. It's a smart choice, David. Coffee before 5 p.m. Don't forget the numbers there, David. You don't start drinking alcohol until after 5 p.m.
So I think that'd be a bluff, and it would actually be really smart. It's a bluff. Really good fees bluff.
Okay, so like me and her were having a conversation. You guys.
Sorry, me and
Yeah, I know, right? Like, we're having a conversation. And all these men, right?
She and I.
I put him in the audience real quickly. I want David to simmer just a minute, because if you're gonna pre-announce that you're gonna take the whole Gaza Strip, then that means you are going to, engage and defeat, guaranteed. So what I'm trying to say is, by making all or nothing statements or creating clickbait titles, you create that in order to see how, what the feedback is, what the response is. And so I think that, saying you're going to wipe your ass versus actually wiping your ass are two different things.
I think it could be a bluff.
It's a little bit like chess, you put a feeler out there to see how they respond, and because, to sacrifice more soldiers to go, liberate Gaza from Hamas versus getting some type of negotiation or settlement, or meeting of the minds through this type of negotiation technique. But it could literally be him actually doing a neurolinguistic program and saying, hey, we're going to prep the world for this, that there's going to be some carnage. So, we told you 2 months ago, and now we're actually doing it, because that's most likely what's going to happen, where they're going to hope for the best, but plan for the worst.
Nice. Moving the plot for a while.
How much Trump people got that will face more? And you think that maybe now would advise everybody that is going to do something? Really?
Wait, so what are you saying, Shoki?
I think that is going to get blow, but we will see. There is no way that it's not a blow, in my opinion. Like, since when you're going to let your enemy know when you're planning to do something?
Well,
Did he do that?
by
Did he do that with Iran? Did he do it with Hezbollah? With who he did it? So now we decide to be the stupid to let the enemy know.
Well, I mean, they're in kind of a cornered position, no?
No, why it's in cold? Do you see Trump saying anything against it? Do you see Trump stopping him from anywhere? He's in the best time of his life. Till he is in the political industry, never had so much support. Never, ever.
Well, in terms of how many enemy soldiers there are still, what's the actual number? Any idea? Is it 10,000, 20,000? Is it 5,000?
The problem was that you're killing one and they grabbing another two 14-year-old kids, give them a weapon in their hand, and send them to either kill a soldier or get died by the soldier. So, for every one that falling, they have another two that they recruit immediately.
IDF estimates are 40,000 as of May. It could be as simple as just getting the Hamas to move out of Gaza City and establish a corridor for aid to flow. Could be a big PR move.
That's what I'm saying, it's all a blow.
What do you think about the theory that if you actually go in there and take them all out and engage in a very aggressive action, in some ways, like Benjamin Netanyahu's political power, by doing nothing but saying you're going to do something is like the essence of politics, So the moment he actually completes or ends his objectives in the same way that some other historical figure, it's always like a Pyrrhic victory. So there's never really any true victory per se. So I'm just saying that Benjamin is so smart. This is him just floating and flying. It's because Gaza has been neutered, terrifically. So I'm just saying that from a Benjamin position, he's infallible in a way.
Not really. Right now, I think he's trying to balance the bad PR against appeasing Schmoltrich and Ben Gvir. And this is almost like the only move he has. So he's got both sides kind of balanced off of each other. He's extending his shelf life is what he's doing.
Because he knows that his shelf life, no
God should deal with it. There is no other option. Think about it. You think that Hamas is going to give you all the hostages? That's stupid even to think about it. They cannot, because if they give you, they lost all the leverage that they had. How do you think that they're going to do that?
Well, does anyone want me to play a clip of Benjamin Netanyahu discussing the Gaza operation?
I watched that today. Yeah. Sure, go ahead. Are you going to include the reporters' questions and everything?
We can. There's a couple clips. I mean, it's like a 28. Okay, let me just play some of it.
Anyone advocating the destruction of Israel. That's what we want to do. We want to liberate ourselves and liberate the people of Gaza from the awful terror of Hamas. And you were in the Gaza Strip today. You met Palestinians who are fighting Hamas because finally they see that they have a future. They can rid themselves of this awful tyranny that not only holds our hostages, but holds 2 million Palestinians in Gaza hostage. That's got to end.
Are you saying today that you will take control of the entire 26-mile Gaza Strip, as it was 20 years ago to this month in 2005?
Well, we don't want to keep it. We want to have a security perimeter. We don't want to govern it. We don't want to be there as a governing body. We want to hand it over to Arab forces that will govern it properly without threatening us and giving Gazans a good life. That's not possible with Hamas. The only way that you're going to have a different future is to get rid of this neo-Nazi army. The Hamas are monsters. Look at what they're doing to our people. Look at what they're doing to the way they massacred, raped, beheaded our people, our men and women, hurt our babies. And they are really cruel to their own people because when we try to take them away from the combat zones, they shoot them. They want people to be civilian casualties. They want a starvation policy that they themselves are trying to put into being, and we're doing everything to reverse that. They have to go. I think President Trump has said it. You have to see two things in Gaza. You have to see Hamas eliminated, and you have to have the hostages released. And he's absolutely right.
There are 20 hostages that the Israelis believe are still alive. And in recent events, the closer the IDF got to them, many of them were killed. Are you prepared for that?
We're doing everything in our power to salvage the hostages. We've, in the beginning, the second day of the war, I think a senior command official in Israel said, you're going to have to get used to the idea that we're not going to see any of them alive. And I said, no, I don't agree with that. I think with the right military tactics and international pressure, we can get all of them, and certainly most of them, out. So far, we got out of 255, we got 205 released, 148 of them are alive. Nobody believed that. And I believe we can get the others, but we have to combine the right tactics, military tactics. Without military pressure, nothing will.
Yesterday, I spoke with Laron Urban. He has two brothers.
Yes.
His family believes they are still alive. He said the following: my advice to you, speaking to the Prime Minister, by all means necessary, we need to bring them back for stability in the region, for the future of Israel. It's a tough decision. But we will handle everything, meaning Israel,
misclassification and misrepresentation in the press. There's an attempt to put blame on Israel for the interdiction of humanitarian supplies that Hamas is interdicting. And Israel is, the international community is delivering the blame to Israel. They're doing everything to rob these food trucks. They're taking the food for themselves and then jacking up the price for the remaining supplies to their own population. That's monstrous.
We have seen some of that, and you're right about that. And you're also right that we went into Gaza while we've been here this week. And we were in the southern town of Rafah, near the Sinai Desert in Egypt. And that town has been flattened. And you have been accused of genocide. How do you respond to that?
Well, if Ambassador Huckabee said, if we're practicing genocide, we're surely doing a very bad job of it, because we could have, basically eliminated the entire population of Gaza, but we went the other direction. We did something that no army in history ever did. We're supplying humanitarian food to the enemy's population because we distinguish between combatants and non-combatants. We put in 2 million tons of food. I mean, if we wanted to commit genocide, we wouldn't give 2 million tons of food to the population. And also, the reason you see the flattened buildings is because Hamas booby traps every single building. So when we come in, we first have the population moved, even though Hamas tries to keep them in the combat zones. But after they move, and we start to move into the neighborhoods that are now populated only by terrorists, they ignite these booby traps. So what we do is we put in an APC, an armored personnel carrier, with a lot of explosives, detonate it. It sets off all the booby traps, and the buildings begin to collapse as a result of that. They're empty buildings, they're not populated buildings. Secondly, they built this underground terror tunnel network with billions of dollars that they had. They didn't build Gaza up. They built a Gaza terror city underground. So we now detonate the tunnels. The tunnels explode, and they take down the buildings that are above the tunnels. And the reason you see this devastation is not because Israel is wiping out these structures filled with civilians. It's because they've been booby-trapped by Hamas, and that's the kind of warfare that we have to do.
I'm hearing you say that you deny this charge of genocide.
Totally.
That's what you're saying.
Totally.
But last week, and you referred to it a few moments ago, President Trump mentioned the word starvation. And he pretty much said it is what it is, from his observation, looking at video and pictures. Were you surprised by that?
Look, I think President Trump has been terrific. He's supported us in so many ways. And he understands that we have to get rid of Hamas. He understands that Hamas is also using their own interdiction tactics to prevent humanitarian aid going. So there's been shortages, no question about that. There's been also suffering. And what I tend to do with President Trump, we talked about that and agreed upon that, is to overcome this with a humanitarian surge. So we're opening up safe routes through which aid trucks can go through. We're going to try to quadruple the distribution points that are manned by Americans, and they're doing a hell of a job distributing food to Gazans without Hamas taking over the food. And that's really what we're doing. And airdrops that we intend to do, we're already doing. And we invite other countries to join us. So it's Israel that's doing now, and has been doing for some time, an effort to give humanitarian aid to the population without letting the Hamas terrorists take it, steal it for themselves, and sell it at exorbitant
Has
prices.
President Trump given the green light for your plan to take over the remaining 25% of Gaza and occupy all of it?
Well, he understands that it's Israel who's going to do the fighting. It's not American soldiers.
Did he give you a yes?
Well, he just says, I know Israel will do what it has to do, and we haven't gone into that kind of discussion. But we have gone into a discussion on two things. One, the humanitarian surge that we're going to do, which will precede our final military action, because I want the population to be in safe zones, to have food, water, sewage, electricity, medical help. I want to free 2 million Gazans from Hamas terrorism. The second thing that we agree on is that the day after has to have certain principles. I'm not talking about a detailed plan yet because I think that will be developed. But the 5 principles, the key principles are these. 1, Hamas has to lay down its arms. 2, Gaza has to be demilitarized. 3, all the hostages have to be released. And 4, Israel will be responsible for overall security there's an attempt to have a resurgent Hamas or resurgent terrorism, we're the ones who are going to take care of it. And 5, let Gaza be governed by a civilian authority that is not Israel, because I don't want to occupy Gaza forever. I don't want to govern Gaza. I want to have a different governance there that basically is willing to live in peace with Israel and give Gazans a different future. That's entirely different from these unbelievable lies that are leveled against us, frankly against me too, by the international press that doesn't care to check the facts. It just takes Hamas statistics, Hamas arguments, it just swallows them hook, line, and sinker, and delivers this vilification of the one democracy, the one Jewish state that is fighting people who massacred. It's the equivalent of the massacre of thousands and thousands of Americans, the rocketing of American cities. Nobody would stand for that.
Come back to my experience inside Gaza this week. We went to an aid distribution site, food distribution site. Your own soldiers have been accused of killing innocent Gazans who are in line for food. That's the accusation, almost on a daily basis. Can you defend that?
Yeah, I can deny it because it's Hamas accusation. They're the ones often who are doing the shooting and waiting for our soldiers to respond. In fact, very often they don't respond. But all these stories are repeated ad nauseum, and people don't even bother to check the facts. We're doing everything that we can to avoid civilian casualties. And in fact, if you look at it, the town of Rafah that you saw all that, right?
All of it.
Right, okay. So I told you why there was devastation, because we moved the population out and then went to and dealt with the traps that were there. And we killed a lot of terrorists there. You know how many civilians we killed there? Practically none. Why? Because we told them, please leave. We showered them with leaflets. We called them, millions of text messages, and many other means to get them out, and they walked out. They walked out 2 miles to the coast.
People think it's hard to get to places like this, or this. But you can have all of this if you earn enough points.
Well, we can take a break if you want. There's about 10 minutes left. But any thoughts, comments, questions, ideas, opinions? No? Silence is acquiescence? Okay, here we go. This is the rest.
Practically no civilians were killed. That nobody describes, that nobody talks about. Israel is doing things that no army in history has done. Colonel John Spencer, who's the head of urban warfare studies at West Point, he said that he scoured all of modern history. He said, no army in the world has done that. And yet Israel is, of course, accused again and again and again by fake reports, by Hamas statistics that are far fake. And, if you repeat a lie often enough, it assumes the cachet of self-evident truth. It's still a lie.
Yeah, your chief of army says your military is exhausted.
Shugi, did you want to say something? Okay.
It's almost 2 years of war. And I mentioned 20 years ago this month, Ariel Sharon made the decision to get out of Gaza, bring the settlers out, and it's been that way ever since, and Hamas moved in. But you have 10 million people who live in this country.
That's right.
They have a lot of opinions.
Yeah, well,
Is it possible?
It's a democracy,
Is it possible for you to keep Israel unified almost 2 years into this war?
Oh, I'm sure we can. I mean, there's an organized and systemic campaign against us. That's part of democracy. I accept it, although a lot of it is foreign funded by the same people who also encourage the demonstrations on your campuses and so on. But I'll tell you one thing, the people are united. Not every last one. This is not a dictatorship. But when it's a Southern Front war, and look at what we did. We were attacked. We were on the verge. Everybody thought this is the end of Israel on October 7th, when Hamas cruelly invaded us, and those monsters took the hostages and murdered the men and raped the women and beheaded. It's beyond belief. And burned babies, okay? And everybody said, oh, Israel is gone. And I said on the second day of the war, I said, we're going to change the face of the Middle East. And we went against Hamas, then we went against Hezbollah, the terror proxy selling it to me. You know, I went to Gaza as you went in. You've been to Rafah? I've been to Rafah. Okay. Talk to the soldiers. Talk to the division commanders. You know what they tell me? They tell me, Prime Minister, don't bother with the press. Just press on with the mission of liberating Gaza from these murderers. And we can do the job. We can separate the civilians from the combatants. We can eliminate Hamas, liberate the remaining hostages. Let us do the job. That's what the soldiers that cut across Israeli society are telling us. Doesn't mean that they make it to the mainstream channels. Doesn't mean that they make it to the foreign press. In fact, they don't. But if I had to run the country based on these vilifications, you know, I shouldn't be here. Because leaders should do what is right. What is right and what will withstand the test of time. And what will withstand the test of time is that in hour of peril, Israel didn't slumber like other democracies often do. In the face of this challenge to our existence, we took on a seven-front war, won it, and secured the peace, and expanded the peace after this victory. Expanding the Abraham Accords, creating a different Middle East. That's what we're in the process of doing. The last part is hard, but it's doable, and we'll do it.
Let me come back to the Abraham Accords, because the president made news on that earlier today. In America, there has been a considerable rise in anti-Semitism, especially on American college campuses.
Yeah.
How did Israel, especially for Americans under the age of 30, young Americans, how did Israel lose this argument? Or maybe the better question would be, how do you win them back?
Well, I think we will. First of all, you win by winning and shortening the war. And President Trump has given us the support to finish this war as quickly as possible. Of course, we have to contend with the campaign of vilification that is done by so-called reputable news media. I mean, the New York Times puts out a major story on the front page. A Palestinian mother holding a child, starved supposedly, and then it turns out that that child has cerebral palsy. It's a congenital disease. He has a brother who's well-fed, family is well-fed, but it's put out this thing, and then it corrects it with a denial the size of a postage stamp buried in the back pages. No, we can't work by lies. How do we win? Eventually the truth gets out. It takes time. People will see the humanitarian surge. People will see our efforts to prevent civilian casualties. People will compare what has happened here to other urban warfare sites that were not nearly as dense, as difficult, without this 50 meters below ground, these terror tunnels, and yet Israel will triumph, will succeed in this mission. And most of the people, I can't say 100% of the people, but most of the people are united, and ultimately, this is democracy.
So instead of shifting that argument on the media, whether it's the New York Times or maybe the Gazan Health Ministry, putting on, because you've said repeatedly in this conversation that they exaggerate, will you allow more independent reporters to go into Gaza and see it for themselves?
That's my conclusion. In fact, that's my instruction as of this morning to the military. And I said, that's exactly what you should be doing. Those who are lying are going to continue lying. But give honest journalists the ability to see the truth. A, the fact that we're trying to get civilian aid, humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza, the efforts that we're making there. B, to understand and explain why those buildings are destroyed, because they're booby-trapped, and we clear the population. And I'm glad you're in. I'm glad you did this thing. I'm glad, in fact, I would say you're blazing the trail. But there have been others, and we have the same result. Every time people see it, they see it in a more realistic way, in a more honest way than the way that it's presented in, unfortunately, the New York Times. And the New York Times should be sued. I'm actually looking whether our country can sue the New York Times. I'm looking into it right now because I think it's such clear information. I mean, you put a picture of a child that's supposed to then represent all these supposedly starving children, yet they put in this picture of a child who has cerebral palsy. Then they took another picture somewhere else in other media, a child who had cystic fibrosis, got nothing to do with starvation. Or another child that we actually sent to Italy to be cured, and Israel is accused.
So you can see there is suffering on behalf
there is suffering
in Gaza.
Yes,
wipe more than 4 times after you poop.
So,
Yeah.
there's no way for us to see that when we're there physically with our own eyes, but you're saying all these buildings were booby-trapped?
All.
And they were not hit by the Israeli Air Force?
No, what I'm saying is
Because
that,
it is building after building.
well, remember, these houses are empty to population. At the beginning of the war, I remember my visit to Washington, and I was told under the previous administration, they said, there are 1.4 million people in Gaza, in Rafah, because we moved the population away from war zones, and they all concentrated in Rafah. Then we wanted to eliminate Rafah. It's like, we were told, don't go in there. And I said, what do you mean, don't go in there? It's like the Allies are, take over Germany, and finally they're told, don't go into Berlin, and leave the German army, 25% of the German army intact. I said, of course I have to go in. But they said, but there are all these civilians. And I said, okay, we'll make sure that they leave. In fact, they left within 6 days. They all left. Then we had to go in. It's full of terrorists in those buildings, in the streets. They booby-trap the streets. They booby-trap the buildings. So we go in and clear it away. And that's what you would do. That's actually that's what you did. That's what you did in your war zones too.
The reason why this point is important for me to understand is we only saw one part of Gaza. We did not see the rest of it. The town of Rafah, as I referred. Last question, sir, if I could, please. The president earlier today put on True Social that he wants all the Middle Eastern countries to join the Abraham Accords. Who are the holdouts?
Well, you know who we're peace with. So if you look at the other countries, they're the ones that are potential and real potential candidates for this. And I think, look, the president and I joined forces with Arab leaders and had the Abraham Accords, which were historic changes, a real change in the Middle East. We had 4 peace treaties with 4 Arab nations in a very short time. And in fact, I think the attack on October 7th, among other things, it was meant to destroy Israel, but it was also meant to destroy the possibility of peace between Israel and the leading Arab country, Saudi Arabia. So obviously we like to see, with the elimination of Hamas and the Iran terror axis, which has been our war. Our war in the last 2 years has not been with Hamas only, it's been with Iran and all its terror proxies and its attempts to develop nuclear weapons.
Other than Iran, who would be a party to this deal?
Well, Iran could be too if the people of Iran rise.
Is that an invitation?
It's been something that I think that many of them want. Many of them want to relieve themselves of that tyranny. And they openly say, I send videos to them, and I'm amazed. Bill, I'm amazed. Millions and millions of respondents from Iran, sometimes with their names and even their faces. You can't believe that they're doing that, but it shows you the thirst for liberation there. So, but if the liberation of Iran will happen because we delivered a very strong blow to Iran's seeming invincibility, and the people will rise from within. But who are the countries that we know we could make peace with once we finish the war in Gaza? I think there are at least 5 or 6 countries here in the Middle East, and President Trump and I have talked about it a great deal, and he's been just an unbelievable partner.
When'd you talk to him last?
A few days ago.
Okay, so this week.
No, I think it was last week. I think, but we talk every week or so.
You talked to Vladimir Putin recently.
Yes.
A couple times.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
What did he tell you?
Well, I can tell you what I told him. I said that I took note of the fact that he said that Iran should not have nuclear enrichment, which is the American position, and our position. I thought that was very good. And I also said that I hoped that he'd come to an agreement with President Trump.
On Ukraine.
Right.
We'll see if we get that piece.
Yeah.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good to talk to you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So far as we can tell, it's the first.
Okay, that's the Fox News interview. That came out 3 days ago. It's got 361,000 views. The title is Netanyahu announces Israel will take control of Gaza.
don't hate it. Why would I hate somebody I've never met?
Why do we need to have these like
Why would I hate somebody I don't know?
why are you
Well,
not focused
and
on
why are you
this?
being schizophrenic and trying to tell me how I feel?
Oh my
Do you
God.
have these like, wait a second.
I was trying to hear
So why did you say I hate Jesus? I never said that.
I never said you did, I asked
defend
you.
yourself. I'm trying
Oh,
to
I thought, why would I hate somebody I know not? Do you hate
Because
Oh my God.
many people think that he claims to
Well,
be the
yeah,
Messiah.
well,
That
it's-
Okay.
nobody else.
When did he claim? When did he claim that? When did Jesus
Why
claim
did
he
you
was
just
God?
lie to me?
Are we listening to what John said? John earlier?
One at a time, guys.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's just a brief sample of El Normo.
Is that now?
Yeah, that's not.
I heard it from a distance. I thought he was in this room. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? That's just hilarious, bro.
Here's a little
Keep
more.
playing, I like listening to it. Go.
Guys are talking over each other.
for Norm,
And go ahead.
so for Norm, this Tucker interview
Yeah.
would be good for, this is a good listen, because Tucker, like he said, wasn't like, it's not like a religious thing. The person that he's interviewing,
Okay.
it's phenomenal. It's an hour and a half, but I promise you won't regret
Who was he speaking to?
Nicholas, how do I, how would you explain
Well,
that?
what's his name? Start with that.
This is a guy who has an academic background in just like a Christian and like I think specifically Catholic like artifacts and
Okay. So he's a Catholic.
he is, but it's he talks about like
You're in the Matrix, Nicholas.
No,
hold on.
I don't have any smoke with the Pope. I love Catholics. I think they have a great faith. What's that?
Leopold was in the Matrix right here.
Catholics have a great faith. You know what?
Yes, perfect. Wait, hold on. Can you let Nicholas restate what?
I don't dwell on the past. I'm living in the now.
Okay, so anyways, just about this Tucker show. He interviews this like, yes, the guy's personally Catholic. Okay. What's interesting is he brings like, he discusses like 200, academic sources. I think specifically on the shroud in which Jesus, peace be upon him, was buried.
Very nice.
And it's actually.
To you, Jesus is a prophet,
No,
not God,
no.
correct?
No.
Yes, he's a. Yes, that's true, but
He's a prophet. He's not divine.
He's the Messiah.
Oh, I thought that the Muslims did not think he was Messiah.
No, we do. He's
Okay.
He's referred to almost exclusively in the Quran as the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary.
I see. So you believe he's a Messiah, but not God.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Christians believe that he's God.
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
but
the Messiah.
Muslims recognize that he's the Word made flesh, that he is the Logos.
Yes.
Right.
We honor the distinction between divine essence and the manifestation of the Logos. So, yeah. So
Wait, you honor the distinction between divine essence, which we all have.
Yeah.
And
No. On the ontological level of the divine itself. So what we call God is the divine, like that which is truly like divine on it, like in its proper place. Whereas Christianity.
wait a second. You don't believe that there's a God?
No, they do.
No.
So you believe?
My whole point, everything that I'm leading up to is that I don't believe that there's a God. Yes, you're correct. Now ask a follow-up.
Damn it, you're bullshit.
So the follow-up is that you believe that Jesus is the manifestation of God in Islam?
Manifestation. No, in Islam he is we call him Ruhullah, the Spirit of God. And he is a word, that he is the Word made flesh. Right?
He's the Word made flesh. Which word?
They see him as a prophet.
Well, no, but we're going into more detail than just, like, he's not like Moshe. He's different than Moshe.
Yeah, he's different than Moshe. Moshe is not.
Is he
Moshe hears the word and writes it down, right? Jesus is the word, right? Like every single thing that he uttered was like in perfect coordination and emanation from the divine.
Yes.
Don't you believe that of all the prophets?
No. So.
Oh, because that's what I heard that Muslims believe, that everything the prophets say is perfect and divine.
Yeah, we know.
We believe that.
Yeah,
starting point is love, and from that perspective, in every true love, and I think I'm quoting Rumi here or some other mistake.
Wait, did you say
In every true love,
influence Islam?
Again?
Did you no? I want. So you think that? So you're saying
Of course it
Christianity?
did.
No, him. He said that. You believe that Christianity influenced the Islam?
How could it not?
I mean, so.
No, I'm asking because I want.
I think that, so obviously I believe Islam is a revelation from God, right? But in its unfolding, like we have the polemics between Muslims and Christians. We know that there were debates and things, and of course I think the intellectual trajectory, certainly there was influence, but in terms of it being a real revelation from God, as in like God Almighty decreed, like He willed that there would be Islam in the world. I believe that, but I'm obviously a Muslim. But I don't believe that Islam upends or supplants or is meant to replace Christianity. We're the opposite. I think I have more thoughts on that, but.
Would you say that
Anyways.
majority of Muslims that like are practicing believe like what you do, or is this like? Because this is a person. This is interesting to me, and I appreciate listening to learning from you, but I just have never heard this.
No, first of all, I don't think that the typical believer, whether of any religion, like, I've been very blessed that
Okay, I can't listen anymore to this.
They use their.
So this has been how can Palestinians win the war while also being genocided? Just doesn't make sense, right? Like if you're getting genocided, like you can't win the war. So it's been an exciting room. I hope you have enjoyed listening to Benjamin Netanyahu talk to, is his name Brett Baer? I can't remember. It's Fox News. My friend, Enigma, Daniel, Harry, I bid you all farewell and adieu. I am headed out into what's called a book.
Alright, is anybody here? I guess I'm gonna end the room here. We've all agreed that we have to end Hamas. End Hamas, end the room, end your thinking, and end your problems.
something that like gripped my soul, and I talk about it in the
Well. What do we have here?
three Sister Lucia, I've read all about her life.
Prodigal daughter, but not really repentant. Like I don't. It was so weird. Oh, we can't talk about it now. The room's being recorded.
It's not being recorded. Technically it's being recorded by Clubhouse, but it's being streamed, and then after the live stream, then a recording will remain. Slightly different concept, but I hear your point.
They're gone now. What are you calling me a social outcast? What the hell?
I think you just proved it.
I'm amazing. Everybody wants me in their group.
Alright, as usual, I'm gonna mod the women because it serves two purposes. It makes me look like I'm a bitch magnet, and it's also just more civilized. Women are less likely to move people to the goo, mute them unnecessarily, or kick them from the audience. So I appreciate the ladies. Thank you.
You underestimate us. We kick hard.
Okay, maybe I'll put an age limit on this.
Alright.
I don't, because I don't like to hurt people's feelings.
I do, bring it.
I just want to let the room know that last night's Mojo experience netted a skyrocketing 4,000 viewers on the YouTube Live.
Wow.
Excellent. Congratulations.
What was the peak concurrent viewers? What did that get to?
I think like 70 maybe.
That's pretty good. What do you think opened up that portal?
I'm not sure. Either, maybe somebody posted it, or because I posted the link in the chat, and then people from Clown House went in there, maybe, and then it triggered the algorithm to show more. You have to have momentum, I think.
Yeah, well, something that it used to be true about the Clubhouse algorithm, and it makes sense that it would work for other platforms like a YouTube, is the velocity in which you open a room. Alex New York and I used to talk about it, and this is why, if you remember when he would open rooms, he'd open a room, and then if it didn't have 100 people within the first 5 minutes, he would just shut the room down. He'd reopen it, and he might do that 6 or 7 times, and then eventually you build momentum because you get the people that were in the room when it got closed down, but then when you start a new one, they jump in, but then also new people. That doesn't work anymore. Clubhouse has changed their algorithm, plus there's just not as many people on that, but I think velocity is important. So maybe what we should do is, before you start the live stream, maybe we could talk about how do we just get people to go view it over there, and where we could share it, elsewhere, whether it's on, for the older people, they could share it on Facebook.
I will say, I do not consent to being recorded. Just make it clear.
Those words mean nothing.
No.
Well, I'm not an attorney, but
Can I ask 2 questions?
Cackles is an attorney. Cackles is my.
David, isn't it too early to be drunk?
What's going on with Alex New York? He used to be holding rooms all the time.
I remember Alex in New York. I listen to the guy.
Not 3 times. You don't say the name 3 times.
Okay, but whatever happened to him?
Well, I'll tell you, if I knew information, I would probably withhold it, because it's not polite to share. Is that there was a place for him on this app, and I think some of his rooms were the dumbest rooms on here. I also think that. Why would you interrupt me, David? Why would you interrupt me?
Sorry.
What have you been drinking today?
No, because.
No, I want to know what you've been drinking. Don't even tell me how many, because that would be gossip.
So there was a situation with Alex in New York.
No, but what are you drinking today?
I'm not gonna answer that question.
Okay, well then until you want to participate in the room, I'm gonna move you down to the audience. We'll move you back up when you're ready to tell us what you've been drinking. You don't have to say how many, that would be too personal, but go ahead and put it in the chat what you've been drinking. That'd be great.
Can I ask Kitover a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Do you guys formally know each other? Have you guys met?
No. I'm going to Chicago when the next festival is, so I wanted to know what is the next up-and-coming festival.
Why don't you meet him at the campaign headquarters?
Oh, I can do that and give him a little contribution.
You could go to the Air and Water Show, or you could go to the Polish Fest, and then there's another big one in Chicago, downtown by Chicago Theater. It's just.
That's what I thought. The Polish Fest. I go to all Polish things. I'm not a Polak, though. Thank you.
Hello? This is Cackles calling in. What's up, guys? Long-time listener, first-time caller? That's about right. I have a bone to pick with you guys.
What?
I'm just kidding. What happened, Cackles? What did we do? Now, it was a long-time listener, first-time caller joke.
No, keep on going. I'm feeling froggy. Let's go. The next part of that sentence needs to be. Cackles, the next part of that sentence needs to be. Am I the asshole with?
Am I the asshole of? Yeah, that could be it. Ooh.
Alright, new poll. Thought it was relevant and timely. Hey, Liz.
That's a great
There's
poll.
definitely WWE women.
You know what I really like about the positive mojo vibration experience is the changing titles, the changing polls, the dynamic nature of the room.
Your dynamic nature.
Hello, Monica. Or Christopher.
Who's Christopher?
It's quite literally in his name.
Christopher is an Antifa radical anarchist who flicks off cops and says, F you, cop!
Oh, no, John.
Wait, hold on. My understanding of Christopher is that he's a small town boy, military family, Republican lineage, that just wants to help make his neighborhood better.
Oh, wait, that wasn't Monica? Oh, that was you, Serendipity? Hello, I'm sorry. Hello.
Hello.
You're right, Mojo. But he's not serious anymore. We have an understanding.
So you're vouching for Christopher, so actually pat him?
Dude, Christopher was one of the most epic voices on this app. When everybody else was chasing, the big names that were off the app, he made a name for himself on this app. He literally made a house called Chris Sweat a Rant, and he would get on the stage by himself, rant for 15 to 20 minutes, and there'd be 100 people listening with no ability to interact with him whatsoever. They would just listen to him rant. It was probably the most interesting experience. I don't think it was necessarily the most engaging rooms. He would then bring people up after the rant, but it was fascinating to watch how he could captivate people. It was like a one-man Broadway show.
Nice. Congratulations, Christopher. I guess no replays because this looks like a new-ish account, huh?
Oh, this was years ago. That's funny.
Thought it was Christopher Lamar.
I don't think Christian Lamar ever got 100 people in his rooms.
True, Monica.
Christopher, if there was one thing that you wish Clownhouse users knew or read in a book, what is it?
Oh, I don't know. I actually only come up here to fucking catch up with you guys once in a while. I don't think I've been on here in like 10 months or something, but this app sucks.
Isn't that projection though? Because like, doesn't the app actually suck if you suck? But like, what if other people on the app don't suck?
No, some people don't suck. The app sucks.
Does the app like?
It's a conference call. It's just people. Like the app is, basically a non-existent thing. It's a fucking conference call.
No, they've ruined the app, and it sucks.
Well, what is the app other than speakers having a
It
conversation?
just sucks now.
So my interpretation of the app is it's your own choose your own adventure game. So if you're unhappy with the content, you have the freedom to create your own.
Exactly.
Hi, everyone.
As is always the case.
To answer the conversation, I just wanted to come onto the stage so I can be included. Thank you.
Dylan,
Thanks, Dylan.
Dylan,
Well,
welcome to the
Dylan.
Self-Adventure Club, Dylan. Congratulations on making your first step in your new self-adventure.
But yeah, it's group calls, okay? That's all it is. It's just a big old group call.
Yeah, you're a big old group call.
With a picture.
Whoa, what the violence, Jackals?
Sorry, I'm feeling violent
I
now.
don't think any of you are real. I think you're all just dots on a screen making noises.
Hold on, do we move him down for outing us, or what?
Well, hold on. Maybe what we need to do is read the rules of the house to Dylan.
Oh, let me yes, sharp.
Dylan, we have rules.
We're a real inclusive bunch too.
I just read the rules for the first time in my life.
Do you
Dude,
agree to abide by them?
I have so far.
Hold on.
would you like me to read them to you?
Just for us to hear more of your voice, we will answer yes.
In the bus.
Okay.
In the bus.
Violence, no problem. No doxing, no problem. Stay on topic. I'm gonna try. Keep your shares brief, okay? Don't interrupt speakers. I'm pretty good at that.
stop. Number 5, do not interrupt.
Just start from the beginning. We want to hear as much Monica as we can.
I'm so lost. Where are we starting?
The rules?
This is
Number 1, no, bye. No threats of violence, no doxing, stay on topic, keep your shares brief, do not interrupt speakers, especially mods. Mods may interject when appropriate. The N-word is forbidden on stage and in chat. Don't spam the chat. Do not bring drama here from other rooms, and English only. PSA, assume that all rooms are being streamed. Paul and the Clubhouse team have taken away the mod's ability to remove people that do this when they introduce the anon features.
So well written.
Who left in a tantrum? Hey, Bren.
I appreciate the English only.
I mean,
Do you know the spirit of why we have the English only rule? Can anyone guess?
So that ICE will know who not to take?
Oh, that's a good guess. But no, I unfortunately only am fluent in English, although I do know un poquito when it comes to Espanol. And so because I don't have a mastery of other languages, it's just easier for me to moderate rooms, both on the stage and in the chat, if we agree that we're all going to speak English. Poker rooms have this rule to avoid collusion.
Poker rooms. I disagree. I think you might be fluent in sarcasm and have a doctorate in memology, but I could be wrong.
I also have a crush on Monica.
You guys are getting married. So cute.
Monica and Mojo sitting in a tree. Clubhouse style.
Where's Kelly?
K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
So uncomfortable.
Monica, I hear you blushing.
You guys, don't be ashamed of your love.
Seriously, can we need Kelly in here to...
Kelly is making sandwiches at this time and eating watermelon. She might show up later.
I would like to join the Monica pile-on and also just say that you are a beautiful woman with the greatest voice on Clown House. And when I saw the moon last night, that beautiful light, I thought of your beauty and your grace and your magnificence, magnificent Monica, aka Scarlet.
He's trying to give me the leave, isn't he?
No.
Hello and welcome to Con House.
Fight with Mojo. John, we do not believe in duels. Settle down.
Well, when I hear flattering compliments.
Hold on. I just want to say that if we believe what the Bible says about love, it's okay, because love is not jealous. So there could be plenty of admirers of Monica.
Oh, good. Can we just throw me in the mix, too?
Everybody, serendipity is now in these lessons.
I'm used to dog piles, but not this kind. So,
Isn't enough with the love bombing already?
I think you can only get great compliments if you truly anonymize yourself and remain, anonymous.
I like this poll. This is a fun poll. Should we go around and each have our own pet peeve poll? Like, what's the worst? Yeah. Chewing off mute just kills me. There's a very few number of people who can do it that I don't get over, but the majority, man.
Girl, you counted his ice cubes this morning.
But serendipity, was I wrong? I was rude.
You were not.
I was rude, but I don't think I was wrong.
You were absolutely not wrong. That's honestly, all of my pet peeves surround noises. Noises trigger me.
We're talking about pet peeves just on Clubhouse or in life?
In life, it's everywhere, yeah. Repetitive noises bother me. Chewing, smacking, gurgling, gulping, anything you do with your mouth. Ugh.
Okay, I was really offended that I was watching a YouTube video in a foreign language
about someone recording you and putting you on YouTube?
I also cannot tolerate BO. I am very sensitive to smell. And BO is just, I just can't do it.
Oh, I'm afraid you're right, Holly. You got me there too. The smell thing is a big thing for me.
I remember being around someone who was very pungent, so pungent that they activated my gag reflex. And like, oh, I could not deal.
Monica, what perfume do you wear? Can you answer that? Is that too personal?
No, it's not that it's personal, it's that I really, there's the Michael Kors original was my favorite and then discontinued. So.
Well, the reason I ask is that I'm thinking of getting your favorite scent and spraying it on my pillow.
Oh my. What? Is the world turning?
It could be a carcinogen, so, sleeping in it might not be the best idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely been in really awkward situations. I was on